Hey everyone, T2RX6 here, back for another Transformers review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Hybrid Style THS-01 Galaxy Convoy from Galaxy Force. And this is basically just I'd like to consider it a miniature masterpiece version of the Cybertron / Galaxy Force Optimus Prime. And it comes in a really nice box here. So you see the whole display, you see his backpack, the guns, his weaponry. Now on this side here and down here is all the fists and everything like that, but to not lose them, they're actually in a little case in the back that I put them in. Now, on the back flap you get a really nice view of all the things you can do with it. For instance, there's the artillery mode, which I think is kind of silly, so I probably won't show you. It's just the trailer flipped out with the guns. Oops, bumped the camera. Just how the guns work, the flying fire truck mode, opening the chest to reveal the matrix. So it's really cool. It's a very cool set. A bit expensive. I think you can still find them for about 50 or 60 bucks online if you look carefully, but I have seen them go for fairly expensive prices. Now the thing to be worried about this toy is he's rather small for the price you're going to pay. And you really have to be looking at it from the standpoint that he is a miniature masterpiece and, you know, you're paying for what you get. And in this case, you most definitely are. A lot of them is made out of plastic, but the whole, I'm not sure if it's the whole leg section, but good parts of the leg section are made out of metal. The thighs are, the lower legs are, I think it's from the waist up he's actually made out of plastic, but he has a lot of weight to him for a figure this size, and you can see he's pretty darn small. In fact, as a size comparison, we'll put him there, and we will take an average Cybertron, or Energon Scout, this being one of the Superion limb bots. And you can see they're roughly the same size. Now that may be disappointing to some because this is a $10 toy and this guy is going to run you 50 to 60, if not more. I haven't checked his price recently, but I can tell you that because of the detailing and stuff inside there, he's most certainly worth it. Now, some people may disagree with my opinion on this here, but I personally like this particular sized character to go with my Legends. And while Jazz and crew are a little bit small comparatively, I still like the general aesthetic that it gives when you have them all standing next to each other and Prime being bigger in the background. It's never really upset me like that. He is, you know, a fire truck in this case, so I'm okay with him being bigger than the other Autobots he's being posed with. Normally I don't use THS-01. I do have the G1 version of the hybrid style Prime, which perhaps I shall do a review on that one after too. But you know, this is just kind of to show you just how he fits in scale with these guys. Just as another size comparison here he is next to his actual Cybertron Optimus Prime, just to show you the, you know, relative size difference here. You're talking about a toy that comes up to that particular Prime's knee. Now, as accessories for this guy, you get two little Cybertron keys, very little Cybertron keys, so you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you end up losing them, so be careful. You get a plethora of fists that are all on ball joints, 3 for each hand, plus the 2 that he's carrying. The pointing fist, the gripping fist, the splayed open hands fist, the other hand being splayed open, the other hand pointing, and the other hand gripping. You also get the Super Mode Prime head. I kind of like this head just because I like my Optimus Primes with the faceplate. In fact, I normally keep this guy displayed like, how do I do it? I can't remember. Like this. And I'm going to drop his head in the process. I normally keep it like that, just 'cause I like the Prime head. So you do get the Super Mode Prime faceplate head. Okay, so I've gone and put the gripping hands in, and as you can see, the gun just will hold in his hand. It is a rubbery plastic, so it would fall easy. So it's not really, I would say it's not necessarily a toy for kids, but at the price I don't think anyone would give it to a really young kid. But he does hold it pretty well. Inside his chest, of course, like I said, he does have the little matrix inside there. Let me see if I can get the light on it better. And it is metal. It's a huge pain to get out. But you know what? I'll try it anyway, just to show you. And I'll just try to get it with this pencil here. And I got some pencil on it, but that's okay. It comes off, and you got little teeny tiny matrix here. Much easier to get in than it is to get out, and definitely one of his smallest pieces that you can possibly lose. So, that's pretty much it for this particular mode. And if you, I suppose, watched Cybertron, I guess. I've never seen the Cybertron show yet. It's on my to-do list, but I haven't done it. He has a super mode, which makes the other pieces that are in this box come into play. And this is actually where this guy actually has advantages over the large version. Now, the way this works, this does not fold in like the original one does, if I recall correct. I think it just sits on the back. Okay, so I put him in his combined, or his powered up mode, I guess you could call it. And this is where I like him, because he has a lot of things that make him a bit better than the leader. For instance, one thing that always bugged me about the Cybertron leader is that the guns don't have any type of handle, so he's just holding whatever. And in this case, he actually does. So you can slide out both these little handles, and as long as he's got his gripping hands on, you can put the handles of the gun into his hands, which makes it a lot more convincing. The other thing that I really like about him is being, like I said, a miniature masterpiece. All this stuff that's normally an unpainted gray is just a really nice looking silver. Now, if you have the leader mold, you know you have two Cybertron keys. And in this case, the Cybertron keys don't work quite the same, but there's a little tab on here that it sits on top of. And when you actually push it in, it still does the right thing by a slide mechanism. So they kind of cheated there a little. You can see on this one, you can just kind of push it like that. But regardless, the Cybertron key gimmick is still there in a form to, you know, do the same thing that your actual leader had with the pop-out guns and the opening main cannon. There is no sound effects or light effects though, but frankly everything else this guy does makes up for it. Just as a final shot here, before we go to the alternate mode, here he is next to the leader Cybertron Prime. I'm sorry, there was a car honking outside and I thought it was my camera was shutting off for a second. But here he is next to the Cybertron version in the fully powered up mode. So you can see there's quite a big size difference between them. I recommend both of them. This guy is awesome. If you don't have that and you don't buy anything from Cybertron, that's the one to get. But let me go and take them to their alt mode and I will be back. Okay, and so here we have him back in his alt mode here, and it's a very good representation of what you see in the Galaxy Force Convoy. He does have some extra little details with the little yellow lights that aren't painted on Prime, and it's nice. I mean, He can do everything. You can still flip this out and make his crazy space mode, even though I think it's kind of silly, so I'm not going to show you it. I did notice he has, these guns are on a spring. There's a button on the back to hit and it makes it pop down, which is something that's not on the regular Prime. And if I took the key out, but still you can still push it on open and closed and pop out the missiles. There's no actual, there's no missiles that launch, but that would be a nightmare if there was for this toy. And yeah, everything is exactly the same as the leader-sized version, so you can see just how big the difference is. And both are great toys, but this one most certainly is a miniature masterpiece version of this. And I said it before that the reason I particularly like them, and you can disagree if you want, is that I just like how they look when they're sitting on a shelf displayed with the Legends characters. In fact, the Legends characters still look like they might have a bigger driver than this particular Prime. But, you know, I think they look cool on a shelf displayed together, especially when it's the G1 version, which, as I said, I might review next. But yeah, I really like it. I really recommend it. It is a bit expensive, but it's totally worth it. So is the leader class. If you don't have the leader class, get it. It's an awesome toy. But for just the visual representation here, you know, all this gray plastic and everything that's now turned into this really, really nice metallic silver is just, it's excellent. It's a great little toy. The only, I think, gripe I could have is where your leader class, all the tires except this side flap tire here rotate when it rolls. This one you have to really kind of specifically get them to transform, and even then it almost drags the bottom here if you're trying to roll them, so I don't recommend rolling them too much. He's rolling pretty good now, and you may not be able to see, but this tire is moving, and the tires underneath are moving, but the two sides of the trailer don't actually touch the ground. And that's probably the only complaint I have about this toy. Oh, and the handles. You have to, because he's got these added handles here, and the nature of how the backpack transforms with the shoulder straps right here, you do kind of have to pull them forward a little if you want it to sit flush. Otherwise, when it's completely back, you're going to get your guns sitting at a slightly upward angle, and I prefer to have them flush. So, not a big thing. It's a little nitpick. It's certainly not a toy I'm going to be rolling around on the concrete or something, so I'm not really worried too much about the fact that the back wheels don't roll. But this is T2RX6. This is the leader class Prime, Cybertron Prime. And this is the hybrid style, and these are a bunch of Legends that, in my opinion, look great rolling out with the hybrid style one. So until next time, guys, this is T2RX6. I'll talk to you later.